Hi guys. Hello. Um, I don't know when to start. Really, this is really tricky. I watched something last night, and as I've said on my Facebook, it seems to me, or it feels like a part of my childhood has died, or have lost a part of my childhood. For those of you that don't know, I do like to watch a bit of WWE wrestling, formerly known as the WWF. And although I don't watch it week in, week out, as some people do, I do like to catch the pay per views. I do like a good rumble from time to time. But last night, for those of you that don't already know, I'm sure, well, the world probably knows by now, The Undertaker looked as if he had retired after his match with Roman Reigns, which he lost, which I'm megally unhappy with. He stood in the middle of the ring, fully clothed, and he removed his gloves, his trench coat that he wears to the ring, and his hat, and he laid it in the centre of the ring, and walked off to the ramp, and then descended underneath the ramp after doing one final salute to the crowd. He was clapped and applauded the whole time. Regarding the match, it wasn't brilliant, but you could definitely see that the time is near to have retirement. I mean, he was 52. You could see some of the bumps he was taking. You could see he was in so much pain, and I think, if memory serves me well, reading up on it, he actually needs hip replacement surgery, so that would render him unable to move for months. Possibly at the age of 52, being able to gain full function of that left side is, I mean, you'd never be able to compete at full time level. So at the top, so you can understand why the decision has been made. However, it's just really sad. I don't think it's quite sunk in yet. I keep reading about it and I keep watching highlights of it and all this sort of stuff, but it just doesn't seem real. It's just bizarre. I mean, I remember when I first heard about this character called, the Undertaker, and I think the first time I actually saw him was when my uncle recorded Wrestlemania 8 on VHS. Tells you how long ago it was. Wrestlemania 8, and the Undertaker was against Jake the Snake Roberts, and I remember he tombstoned him on the outside, and then he beat him pretty easily in the end. But I just remember hearing about it. Oh, there's this new character who's he's dressed, like an Undertaker, and he rolls his eyes back into his head, and he's impervious to pain. I believe the great Bobby Heenan said, or was it Gorilla Monsoon? I'm not sure. And it's like, I remember, because that's what gripped me. I was absolutely terrified, and the lights. I don't think the lights went down then, but the gong hit, and he walked to, and he had a pallbearer as his manager, and the whole thing was just absolutely freaky. I remember watching it as a kid and thinking, "Wow, this is really really scary." And obviously, as time moved on, his gimmick changed somewhat, and he evolved, and he adapted to the surroundings. He in the Attitude Era, he did the Ministry, and then he went to the American Badass, which is a terrible gimmick. And then he returned as the Dead Man and stayed ever since until he retired. But it's just like, he's been there for 27 years, and it's just like I'm 33. So he has always been a massive part of my life. I've never met him, and I never will do. But to have him in the back of my mind when I'm reading about something that's going on, or potential things, or even predictions going to be happening at certain pay-per-views, it's you don't actually believe it until you see it. And I'm so glad that I was able to watch it live. I don't know, something just told me about the whole pay-per-view that you have to watch it, because well, you just don't know what's going to happen at WrestleMania anyway. I mean, you could predict some of the matches, but you never actually thought for a minute that, excuse me, he was actually going to retire. But it's terrible. Looking back, also, I suppose there were signs because Jim Ross was brought out to commentate and call his last match, and I do remember Jim Ross saying that he would love to call Taker's last match, and Taker apparently asked for him himself. So obviously it was all planned, and then after losing, to Roman Reigns, who he's he's not the best. He's been pushed for all of the wrong reasons, and he's like nobody likes him. Nobody likes him, and I don't. He isn't. Okay, he's tough, I suppose, but he's not. He's nothing on the Undertaker anyway, and he's just rubbish. But I think ultimately, for that to have happened that way, Undertaker had to have picked him himself. He had to have made that decision, and because he's been so good to the business, he's obviously said that it's almost like I want to say a passing of the torch moment. I mean, I don't really know. I mean, there wasn't any handshake or anything like that, but obviously Undertaker knew that he was that Roman Reigns was being pushed. He would get a big rub by beating the Undertaker, and I think, to be honest, I think he'll turn heel. He's going to get booed to hell from now on because no one was cheering for him ultimately at WrestleMania last night. But anyway, I mean, I'm just starting a bit of a rant really, but I'm just really I'm really upset about it. I don't. It's probably trivial to most people, and it's like when your favourite soap character gets killed off or something like that. Somebody that you've been watching like ever since you were younger, and it's the same for that. I mean, he's entertained me. He's kept me going back. I mean, there was a period when I wasn't interested in it. But you'd hear the things. Oh, the Undertaker's done this, or Undertaker had a match with this person, and all this sort of stuff. And I slowly crawled my way back into it. And credit where it's due. He never left the WWE. If you go back to the '90s when the Monday Night Wars with WCW, I'm sure he was offered money, but he never jumped ship like some of them did. He always stayed with Vince McMahon. He's always been a massive staple part of the company. I don't know how WrestleMania is going to be WrestleMania without him around. I think it's very similar to when Shawn Michaels retired. Being Mr. WrestleMania. It's like it just doesn't feel the same. I don't know if you understand that, but for me, it will never be the same. I will never. I mean, I'll watch it, but it just won't. It won't have that feel of, oh man, the Undertaker's on next, or the streak's up, and all this sort of stuff. I think in hindsight, Undertaker, and I've spoken to my friend about this. I think Undertaker should have called it quits when the streak was broken at WrestleMania 30 at the hands of Brock Lesnar. I think that would have been a better way to go out. He shouldn't have carried on, even though his match with Bray Wyatt was pretty good. And I can't remember who he fought that last year. It was so memorable. But this year he just didn't look good. He didn't look good. He didn't look healthy. He looked out of shape, and it's sad. Really, it's sad because I think it would have been nice for him to go out on a high note, rather than a 23-2 record. A 24-1 would have been okay, or maybe a 25-0. That would have been ideal. I think if you think about it logically. But who am I to say what should and shouldn't be done? It's I think the fans. I don't think the fans will ever recover. It'll take a long, long time, and obviously there will be nobody like him ever again. You got Bray Wyatt. He's doing really well as the new face of Fear. Has sort of supernatural powers and stuff, so you can see that he's doing well. But again, he won't have the longevity like the Undertaker's had. He won't be wrestling in 20, 30 years. Not possible. Not in this day and age. But anyway, so I'd like to take this opportunity, as many as with the same as hundreds of other thousands of millions of people who are in absolute disarray about what happened last night. Thank you, Undertaker. You've made my life fun. You've made wrestling entertaining for me. Um, it's been really, really good. Good luck for whatever you do in the future. And yeah, thank you.